Puccini, not pasta.
That's all fine. But she gave her own performance. What happens so many times with young singers is, and with all singers, because you have access to so much music and you listen to it so much and you listen to it over headphones, that you are singing along with a performance that is in your memory. You have to create the music out of your own self. You have to put that listening down and not do it anymore. And I saw right away, right at the beginning of your learning to be the singer, that's really, really quite fantastic, that you were singing your own performance. One of the things that you will discover that people like Danielle, Carrie, and Rachel and I do is we will ask questions like this. So I'm going to ask you some questions. You do not have to know all the answers. But we, as all of us together, will work on answering these questions and then trying to find our way into more meaning and your voice and your singing of this. And I love this. This really, really helps me in my performances. And as you go on this journey that you have started, it will help and will help all of you. Where is this? And it seemed one thing. I'm going to ask questions about where this piece is in music history and how you are supposed to sing it that way. And then, after I've asked those questions, I will contradict and say, but we want to hear the way all of you sing your piece today with the information you have. It is great to have historic information to talk about Caccini, and he was at the beginning, the very, very beginning of solo singing. People sang solo, but they didn't sing in this way with an accompaniment to have it be part of the story. Opera was invented at a moment, in a place and time. So this was a very new thing to do. And you need to know, we all should know, what type of accompaniment it might have. Have any idea about that? What was the accompaniment might have been? It might have been a harpsichord, probably a lute, probably some sort of bass instrument. That sort of information, musicologists are arguing about that now. It would have been performed in a place exactly this size. This is, the early opera houses were in people's homes, and the first opera houses would seat 100 or 200 people. It wasn't about singing for 2,000 people. We don't know how people sounded then. Of course, we don't, 400 years ago. I have a suspicion it sounded like you. That we have an idea of what an opera singer sounded like, and I think they just sang that well, and they sang in tune like you did, and they sang accurately like you did. So, now I'm going to ask you to sing. Tell me the lists of types of singers that you love. Who do you love to listen to? No holds barred. You can be any popular country musician. I watched the CMA Awards the other night, and I can't believe it. They all sound like Carrie. Every single guy is a bass baritone. They sing with this easy, creamy thing. They have a country twang to it, but they're all in your range, though. So who do you like to listen to?
I'd say my top 4 would be like Queen.
The best, Freddie Mercury, the best singer in the latter part of the 20th century. Not to judge.
I like the Beatles and Nirvana and Lana Del Rey.
Okay, I'm surprised. Can you start this and sing this as yourself with all those best singers in your head? And you might go a little bit astray stylistically, we can pull back. But sing this with your own sense of a best voice. Not what you think it should be, but just hear the sounds. I think Stephen Kraft did this to me once. He said, who are your favorite singers? And I gave him a list of my favorite singers. He said, it sounds like you're not singing into the best idea of what singing can be. You have an oral idea of what good singing is. Sing into that idea. Does that make any sense?
I don't think I can sing like Freddie Mercury.
No, just sing. Just whatever great singing is in your oral imagination. Can you all close your eyes and see what your room at home looks like? We all talk about a visual imagination. It's very clear, you know where all the objects are, and that's there. You also have, as highly developed, an oral imagination. You can remember sound. And then if you put together an amalgam of just a great sound, it doesn't have to be very good, but it's just like, you had this to sing with if you like. So sing into the sound that exists in your imagination. Okay? The next question that Stephen would ask, and he would say, on a scale of 1 to 10, how close to your idea of 10 is exactly that amazing idea of great singing in your head. And I use this with students a lot when they're, as you're doing this, to find out. I'm not going to ask you that. I'm now going to do on a scale, I am going to ask you a scale of 1 to 10. On a scale of 1 to 10, how nervous are you? 10 being the most, 1 being not.
7.
Good, that's fair. What happens when you get nervous?
I tense up.
What? And our breathing. We voice teachers always teach about breathing. Take a second, and when she gives you the pitch, intentionally breathe. And then every time it's time to take a breath, because your breath can settle. I am an East Coast guy. I love where I live. I love the intensity of the East Coast. And I'm very skeptical about things like yoga and meditation and all that sort of stuff. But it works. We should breathe into that center of ourselves. We sing or talk about breathing. I think too often we talk about it in a technical sense. And when people at cocktail parties ask me about what I do, and they say, "Oh, you're a voice teacher. You must teach about breathing." And I do. That is our responsibility to do that. And there is a lot of physiology to it and things to do. But mostly, I just remind people to breathe. So I'm going to gently stand here and remind you to breathe. Okay? Take a second. Hear that fantastic sound that exists, that you know in your imagination. Your breathing was a little bit up, and that's the tension. That's what we do. I do it. There is only one thing. I have a bunch of things that I look for as a teacher in singing to diagnose in the course of a lesson and in working with the students. Fine, breathing's one of them. I will say, on stage, when I'm working at the opera, which I'm fortunate enough to do a lot, I never look at my colleagues as if, what are they doing and how are they doing that? Because I have to be in relationship to them in character. So I can't be analyzing. But once in a while, I let my guard down. And if I'm like off stage and watching, I will watch. There are many different ways to breathe. People do different things. People have different vowel sounds that they set up. People do different things. Let's see, articulators. Their registration events, people will sing differently through their registers, and I will surprise me, and I will say they will never get through that. Oh my gosh, that was beautiful. And they're making different choices. The only thing that I recognize in everybody is that their alignment is good. Nobody sings like this. And that is so much of what we teachers do, is to get people in alignment for them to be successful singing. So, when you took your breath intentionally, those phrases were working very, very nicely. Singing in front of somebody you don't know, it takes a certain amount of courage. Congratulations. It is an act of bravery to sing in front of a guy who talked to you for 2 minutes. So next.